Hey everybody, I'm back with another TV show spoiler review, and this one came highly recommended, and it's Jujutsu Kaisen. For at least a couple of years, I've been hearing people rave so much about this anime, and quite a few people telling me like, "Dude, you gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. You gotta check it out." So I was figuring like after I wrapped up the last, like with My Hero Academia. Once I got through all those, I just figured, okay, it only has like a couple of seasons. I need to okay, this is probably the perfect time as I'll ever get to actually sit down, take in this thing, and give my overall opinion. Now, before I continue, please do me a huge favor and leave a like. We got, if you're watching this on YouTube, 11 subs away from 500. So if you haven't subbed already, please do so. If you enjoy this content, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of Jujutsu Kaisen. I know I'm a little late to the party, because there's always like some new anime, and there's some I heard of, some I didn't, and even if I did hear of it, doesn't mean like it just immediately grabs me like that, Last year I reviewed Goblin Slayer on a recommendation of a nice young lady. So now it's like, I got so many people telling me I gotta check out Jujutsu Kaisen. So I did. And, it's a really good anime. However, and this is kind of odd, I think there's probably one other show that I can even think of. Maybe it was a movie. I'm not sure. I know I mentioned it in a different video. I just don't know which one. But this is one of those rare occasions where the main character, I'm not saying he's not interesting, but compared to somebody like Gojo is so interesting. Like, he is so charismatic. It's like, I can see why people just, especially young women, love this freaking character. I was like, why can't we follow this guy? And yeah, it's kind of OP for the time being. It only got through the first season, but I'm captivated by him. The main villain, the patchwork face dude, as well as Yuji's alter ego, Sukuna. Those are the primary three that I've latched onto more so than anybody else. Not saying like anybody else is terrible, but it's just those three kind of stand out for me. Yuji's fine, but unlike most anime protagonists, it isn't like nothing for me to gravitate to make him like, I want to say me like really like him. I remember which one. The other one, Chainsaw Man. I think it was Chainsaw Man that I reviewed, which is up on my channel. The main character in that, not saying he's bad, but he's not all that interesting compared to like a couple of other people that like I was more drawn to. It's kind of a weird thing to put yourself in, where it's like, wow, you're really not selling this main character like you probably want, because like you have some like Naruto or My Hero Academia or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. The main characters, there's something about them that seems more charming, and likable, and I guess personable, whereas like you get that kind of effect where like most people have when it comes to like Peter Parker, whereas like, yeah, like I can understand what he's going through kind of situation. It's like, it's nothing about Yuji or Chainsaw Man it's like you can relate to. Nobody's saying they're terrible, but it's like, wow, why can't we just follow this other person? But anyway, like I said, this is a brand new anime I haven't really seen before. So like the names, they don't like, not all of them stick to me. So pardon me for that. But besides that, we meet Yuji, who recently lost his grandfather, doesn't know anything about his parents. That's probably one of the things that probably would, I don't know, helped if we know a little bit more about his familial background. He just, I don't know, he just like his grandfather told him before he passed away, like, you know, don't let innocent people die, whatever, blah, 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 be a good person. Very run of the mill stuff. And, he has like a couple of schoolmates and who we don't really follow all at all, because you'll think that they become like at least a part of the narrative in some capacity. No, they are quickly forgotten, which is fine, I guess. It's not that too dissimilar to some of the side characters that we saw from the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Those underground junk people that Yusei befriends to help him get out of the satellite. And it's like halfway through, getting towards the end of the season, they are just completely forgotten, never seen again. Which is a shame, because like, wow, you would think they play some kind of integral role into helping the main character. But one day, the friends find this cursed object, and they don't deal with like magic per se here, but it's like curses they weaponize, I guess. And there's this cursed object, this finger, that this cursed demon tries to steal from the students. Yuji shows up along with Megumi, who's also an incredible character, who you just assume would have been something like the Vegeta or Seto Kaiba, because he has that kind of edgelord qualities to him. But he shows up and tries to take out the creature before it consumes this finger, because it belongs to this mega demon called Sukuna, who has like 6 arms. So he was like a powerful creature a long time ago, whose fingers were separated and he was sealed away and is scattered. And Megumi is part of this organization, what do you call it? Jujutsu sorcerers, who needs to gather these items and hopefully get rid of them, because if anybody, especially a cursed creature, consumes it, they might end up being possessed by this old enemy. But in order to save his friends, the Yuji eats the sucker. Now, I have expected something like this to go on, like to happen, but it didn't feel earned, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, there's the components are there, but it's just the steps, it's just, there's no interconnectivity that make it satisfying. Like, yeah, he has to eat this thing, otherwise, he's gonna save his friend. I mean, the components right there, but I don't know why. Where it's like, I don't know, there's like a missing puzzle piece that kind of will leave that big of an impact once that finger is consumed. But he consumed it, and he ends up getting possessed, and somehow, for some reason, is able to, I guess because he got this big, strong will. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't feel earned, Like, it's like we don't know enough about him at this point. I don't know. He's definitely, before we got to this point of him consuming the finger, we should have, spent the bulk of the episode learning about him and his life or his friend groups. We technically did, but it's like cut off halfway, at the halfway point. it should have been like in my opinion, the bulk of the episode. And then the cliffhanger is him figuring out how to save his friend. And then beginning of the next episode, then the consuming of the finger. Because like I want to get to know him a little bit more. I mean, heck, we don't know anything about Yugi's like parentage either, and we spent, but we still spent some time with his friends and his classmates, and we learned a bit about his grandpa. So, so when he battles Seto Kaiba in a card game, and he beats him with Exodia, it felt earned. Because, I don't know, there's those steps leading up to that payoff. I don't have that satisfying payoff with Yuji. I'm sorry. It's just... But anyway, somehow he has the strength of will to overpower the possession. But when Sukuna takes over, he's just immensely powerful. Like, just... not like the whole One Punch Man kind of effect, but he's like an ancient entity that is just, when he's on the playing field, he just dominates. But we haven't still learned too much about him as of yet. And the moments we have with him are very interesting. But we don't... I get it. Once Yuji is taken to meet Gojo, who pretty much manhandles Sukuna handily. This dude is freaking OP in his own right. And of course, his organization wants Yuji's eliminated as per their doctorate. But Gojo sees something unique in him, as well as Megumi. So they figure like, okay, we'll still have to probably kill him, but since he's able to control the possession, we could probably use him for the time being, and he can consume more fingers because like 26 of them. We consume more fingers, and once we got them all in one place, and when we kill him, that will effectively eliminate the fingers at the same time. Because outside of that, very difficult, darn near impossible to eliminate these things off the planet. So, Yuji gives this spiel about why he's choosing to be a part of this, because he once again, it's kind of like a dumb thing, which they kind of quickly changed, halfway through the season, where it's like he wants people to have I guess an honorable death, or a righteous death, or a respectable death, or something like that. And it's like, it makes better sense that you say you don't want innocents to die. That will probably make more a logical reasons, at least better, compared to what he just says. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. It's like, you want them to have like a better death. It's like, and then one of the principals mentions like, who are you to say like whose death is better than the other? And it's like, yeah, it's like, who's to say that this person who got killed by this monster wasn't meant to die in that moment? It's like, you're not God or the angel of death. Who are you to say like that moment was their moment to die? You just happen to just prevent this particular death. It's like you can't choose how a person will die. Not everybody's gonna have like a peaceful death in their sleep or something like that. That's what I said. I'm glad they kind of done away with that. But that was like a stupid line, and I'm pretty sure it's in the manga. But that was, I couldn't rock with that. Didn't hurt my view of the character. I'm still kind of neutral on him. Maybe my feelings towards him get better in the second season, but I'm just kind of neutral on him. But his alter ego, however, is very interesting to me. So we meet other characters like this panda and uh, these other sorcerers. Like I said, like I'm blanking on a lot of their names. So let me get them pulled up really quick. Nabra, uh, Maki, Toj, Panda, Yuta, Real Man, Sukuna, like I said, Ayo Toto, Keto Nanami, Saguro Geto. Yeah, get into the villains a bit. So it is just like, anyway. So there is the Patrick face villain is working with these other let's call them demons, and they want to get the fingers themselves so that way they can increase their own power. But they need to take out not only the Jujutsu sorcerers, but also more specifically Gojo, because he's like their Superman in a way, where it's like, okay, we need to like get rid of him, or distract him or something like that, because he can foil our plans very easily. So they kind of, manipulate situations behind the scenes. We get a moment where Megami, Yuji, and the girl with the nails, Nabura, was tasked to deal with something that should have been just like a routine thing. It shouldn't have been too stressful for their first mission. But because the higher ups want to get rid of Yuji and damn the casualties, because it's all for the greater good of the other sorcerers, because it's their job, it's to be expected to probably die on the job. Of course, Gojo, once he figures that out, is vehemently pissed because, despite his cool, funny demeanor, he is just vehemently pissed and looking at this old geezer as like, I know what you try to do. Saying that, it didn't work out so well. Just throwing it in his face. I really love that character. But because it was a complete, lie, and they walk into a situation, it's kind of like with Naruto, where Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura's first gaining mission with Kakashi. It's supposed to have been like a very low level mission where to get the feet wet, but the bridge builder completely lied, so he didn't have to pay like the large fee because he wouldn't be able to afford it. And it winds them into dangerous waters dealing with elite level ninja. So it's kind of like this, where they could have sent in some, high tier sorcerers to deal with this thing in a quick fashion. But these are newbies, relatively speaking. Well, newbies in so far as like Nabura and Yuji. Megumi's been here for at least 2-3 years at this point, probably 2. So he's a little bit more familiar, but even still, he's still not up to the task to deal with this creature that is like so quick with his kills that when Megumi summons these wolf curses, one of them ends up beheaded and face splattered against the wall, with none of them noticing until it was too late, and the dog didn't let out a sound. It was so fast. And apparently when like one of his curses is killed, then the rest of his power diverts to the whatever rest of his curse summons will have. But he wouldn't be able to resummon those same creatures again if they are killed off, which is kind of weird. But Yuji utilizes Sukuna, and he just, like I said, this dude is so OP. It's just like he just bitch slapped this demon like it was nothing. And then he goes up to deal with Megumi, but since Megumi kind of fascinated him, there was like a fight going on, but it wasn't really much of a fight. Sukuna just pretty much was playing the whole entire time. Even so much so that because he didn't care much about the person he's possessing, idiot sitting there, punctured his own chest and destroyed Yuji's heart. But since he's like a demonic entity, he can still puppet it and do whatever. But as soon as he reverts back, this kid's gonna bleed to death, and he doesn't really care. But it's like, you idiot! It's like, are you kidding me? He consumed your finger, so you are latched to him at this point. So if he dies, you're probably gone too. I don't know. That was like a complete dumbass move, but whatever. But Megumi fascinates him. But it's like, wow, didn't expect the main character to, because technically he did die, but he made and this is where like the whole domain expansion comes into play. Because I've seen people talk about domain expansion, did not realize it comes from this show. Because domain expansion looks pretty doggone dope, but inside Yuji's mind, he had a conversation with Sukuna. He made a pact with him, so he agrees not to harm innocents or his friends in exchange to help out. So he ends up reviving the kid. But then Gojo decides to keep it a secret for a while, just long enough so he can secretly train the kid. And we get to see, how Gojo's powers work. Oh, there's cool little references from like tons of movies and even other anime like Rasengan, in like we see like an image of Ichigo Kurisaki's Zanpakuto. I was like, wow, are they legally allowed to do that? It's kind of weird. And I was like, wow, they can't believe they got away with that. They got to have permission or something like that to utilize references that specific. But anyway, Gojo shows Yuji how to deal with a demon like this volcano head guy who murdered a bunch of people in this cafe, except for one dude because there are a few regular people who, even though they're not Jujutsu sorcerers, are capable of at least sensing some kind of demonic presence. If not all out see them. But he can't see them, but he definitely sensed something wrong. This waiter just completely quits and runs out of there like a bat out of hell. Nobody knows what the heck is going on. So dude was a lucky one. Everybody in this place just went up like spontaneous combust because of this volcano head guy. Surprised the Jujutsu sorcerers didn't get that call and come inspect this from the jump, because it kind of like Ghostbusters in a way. But he thinks he is big and bad enough to deal with Gojo. Completely underestimated him. Gojo's power of an infinite point or something like that, 0 point, is just things can't touch him. He doesn't want them to touch him. Whereas like it's stop short of touching his presence. It's an immensely powerful move. So he deals with that volcano head guy until this other demon comes swooping in, collects the head, so it won't be interrogated. So we meet more sorcerers. One of them being this muscle-bound dude who questions any new person, like, what kind of ladies do you like? Like, weird question. And it's like, if I don't like the answer, we're gonna fight. That kind of attitude. And then this other girl who turns out to be a sister of one of Gojo's students. She uses a gun while the sister uses either a sword or like a bow staff. But the one that's under the Gojo's tutelage, she can't see these spirits without some kind of special tool. But she's definitely the more skilled jujutsu sorcerer. While the other girl isn't as skilled. She's good, but she isn't as skilled. But she's able to see these spirits. And they come from like these, a prestigious. I don't know. Look like a. I don't want to say like Yakuza clan, but some type of prestigious family. But the sister wanted to do something more, and then like the younger one felt hurt. That's why she so angsty and angry all the time. But when Yuji reveals himself, the other, the old man teacher is telling these other students that isn't working directly with Gojo. It's like, while you're on this little test thing, for the Jujutsu sorcerers, if so happens that you come across Yuji, take care of him. We can't have him roaming around. But we get to see like all these people in action, even though they come across like just with so much attitude, typical in certain anime. But we get to learn a little bit more about their sort of backstory, especially the muscle-bound guy who quickly forms like a bond with Yuji, because of course this is an anime. The main character always gotta befriends the person who seems so antagonistic but is actually a good person deep down. You always gotta have some kind of rival, which you would think would have been Megumi. But he's very powerful, and he's gracious enough to help Yuji learn this kind of move, this dark shadow punch move. I forget the name of it. Once there is like a systematic ambush into their training session, that they pulled this barrier that was hyper specific to keep Gojo out, distract him long enough while they try to collect a different finger pieces. But everybody else can come on in, so they deal with these other spirits. A lot of them got seriously injured, but they managed to deal with all of them. But they still managed to make the bad guys still managed to make their escape despite their massive injuries. Oh, I forgot like the middle part of the season where the patchwork face guy ends up befriending this high school kid who was bullied by these punks who just so happens to be going to the same movie theater as the kid, as well as Patchwork Face. They're trying to enjoy this movie, but these obnoxious bullies is loud, answering their phones, and because they're so rude, Patchwork Face walks up to them, uses his powers to morph their souls into these grotesque monstrosities. But the kid who's able to see all this stuff tracks him down, and because he had such a bullied life. The only person he felt like he had anybody to care for was his mom. But he sees some type of gratitude towards the guy to get rid of these bullies that he has no care for, and sees most other people like them, because there was this teacher who saw him getting picked on by these kids and chose not to do anything. It was like horrible. So Patrick Face uh took a liking to the kid and hung out with him a bit, which made it kind of interesting and really kind of gives some kind of layers to the villain for me. Even offer someone like a bit of power in order to seek revenge on the school and a couple other people who mess with them. It was kind of like a trial run for this like dome that they'll use later to deal with the students at the training session. Uh, Yuji, who befriended this kid earlier because doing some investigation saw that, security cameras captured this kid chasing after this guy. They figure he knows something. So Yuji, on his like first mission, is to get to know this kid, figure out what he knows. So he befriends the kid and his mom and formed an attachment, which you'll think would be irresponsible to do so. It's like a cop promising a mom that they'll find their child's killer, and it's like, you're not supposed to, because there's too much stuff going on that there's like a small possibility that won't happen. There's always going to be like cold cases every once in a while, so you making that promise isn't ethical. So it's probably just as not ethical to befriend a would-be suspect. But Yuji does. But that's when he had to show up and to deal with his friend who's wilding out. But he doesn't want to attack him, even after Patrick Face shows up and warps the kid, who, by all intents and purposes, as he mentioned, when he does touch a person's soul, they are effectively dead, and there's nothing you can do to revert that. It's kind of dark. So they're not completely not themselves anymore. They're effectively kind of like zombies in a way. So Yuji has to destroy this person, even though he didn't want to. So, and then this kind of really effed up, where not only the Patrick Face guy is laughing at Yuji for what carried on with his friend, but then Sukuna starts laughing at him inside of his head. It's like, look at you, you bitch. It's like laughing at him. And this kid snapped and beat the shit out of Patrick Face, who not only says like, yeah, I got attacked before, but hey, could be, sure, he got attacked before, but he's able to morph his body and regenerate, and really not much harm can really go to him. But with certain texts, like the one Yuji just pulled off, that I told you, the spoiler review, man, is in the title. He's able to attack his, I guess, essentially his spirit, to actually do some serious damage. And this other teacher eventually showed, his other mentor, the guy with glasses, who's like got a business attire on. He's very interesting too. Who I was like really worried that he was actually going to die at one point, but no, he managed to escape his first confrontation with Patrick Face. But they end up doing some kind of combo move in order to deal with this guy, even though he tried to use his domain expansion on the mentor. But somehow Yuji is able to break inside, because it's impossible to break out, but because so much energy is used to keep like people inside the domain expansion, the outside area is weak, I guess. So Yuji able to just break inside and save his mentor, but because he got so seriously injured, it wasn't able to stop Patrick Face from escaping. So I just had to bring that up Uh, but yeah, uh, everything ends with some kind of like investigation dealing with people mysteriously dying from curses that seem to be like a lingering effect that didn't happen right away. One of them being tied to Megumi's sister, but they managed to take care of that, which they have to do in a kind of different, three different areas. But yeah, I mean, it ends on a kind of like a cliffhanger. Like I said, eventually I will get right into season 2. But I gotta say, the animation in this is spectacular. The animation is spectacular, uh, especially when it comes to like the opening. Now, I'm not a big fan of the show's theme song, but the animation style utilized in the opening and the end credits is very well done. But when the action takes place in this show, like starts ramping up, oh my god, it's kind of like how I felt with My Hero Academia. When the action really start ramping up, the animators, artists, they go all out. They like pull out all the stops for their skills in animation. Very well done. Uh, so yeah, so far I'm really liking this anime. Curious to see where it goes. Like I said, hopefully Yuji, I warm up to him eventually. But so far, his alter ego is a little bit more interesting. I like Gojo and the main villain. Everybody else is cool too, but those three are like tippy top for me as far as like my like. If I have favorite characters, those are the main three. Um, but anyway, that was just my quick thoughts on season 1 so far. I'll eventually. It's only 2 seasons so far, so eventually, once I get done with season 2, I'll let you know my thoughts on that. But I will see you guys in a few minutes because I'll be talking about this movie. Speaking of anime, Alita Battle Angel. Never seen that movie before. It came. The title of that movie came across my, at least like a short clip from that movie came across my Facebook feed early last week, and it just dawned on me, you know what? I haven't seen this before. And those images that I saw, because it's based off an anime, very much seems kind of interesting. And since start of Women's History Month, I figured, okay, this seems like a good starting off point to check out this particular movie. So I'll see you guys in a minute to let you know my quick thoughts on Alita Battle Angel movie. But I will see you guys soon. Take care. Otherwise, be well.